68-year-old woman in California began her day as she typically would. The patient experienced mild numbness in the left arm, transient dizziness, and slight slurring of speech during a conversation with her daughter. She attributed it to inadequate sleep, consumed a cup of tea, and seated herself to recuperate. However, within 2 hours, she collapsed in the living room. Medical professionals at the hospital confirmed that she experienced a significant stroke. Does this story resonate with you? Strokes do not consistently manifest with sudden intensity. If one is skilled at identifying them, they often go unnoticed and show early signs. The risk is that these indicators are frequently misinterpreted as mere aging, fatigue, or the effects of inadequate sleep, leading to their neglect until it becomes too late. What are the warning signs your body exhibits prior to a stroke? In this video, I'll share 6 silent but serious symptoms, small signs that could save a life if noticed in time. Watch until the end, because the 6th sign is something 80% of stroke survivors experienced without realizing what it meant. Before we begin, if you're committed to living a healthier, more fulfilling life, hit the like button to help spread this valuable knowledge. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider clicking subscribe and turning on the notification bell to ensure you never miss a video. And if you're enjoying this content, comment below to let me know you're here. If not, please comment 0, and I'll strive to provide you with even better content. Let's dive in now. The first symptom is numbness on one side of the face or limbs. Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt a slight numbness in one arm? Or maybe your left leg felt like it had fallen asleep. You dismissed it, gently massaged it, and concluded that it was likely a result of sleeping in an unusual position. A common occurrence as we age. Then you went on to make some tea, fold your blanket, and open the window, but your steps felt a little off today, and your hand seemed weak, like it wasn't cooperating. A few minutes later, the numbness faded, you sighed in relief and moved on. But in that moment, your body had spoken, and you chose to ignore it. You used to ride a bike for miles, work in the fields, and carry heavy things without complaint. Now, a little numbness makes you feel truly old, and you accept it as part of aging. Like the stiff back or aching knees when the seasons change. However, this can be dangerous. Not all numbness is harmless, especially when it's only on one side of your body and comes with weakness, heaviness, or difficulty moving. It could be the earliest sign of a stroke. Imagine your body as a radio. Even for a few minutes, blocking the signal line from your brain to your limbs prevents your body from receiving clear instructions. One side might go numb, feel weak, your speech may slur, or your balance may falter. If you dismiss it as just aging or bad sleeping posture, you're ignoring a significant opportunity to prevent a serious stroke. According to the American Stroke Association, up to 80% of stroke patients experienced numbness on one side of the body within 48 hours before the stroke occurred. But only 1 in 4 recognized it and sought help in time. That's not meant to scare you. Linda, 69, from Ohio, intends it to awaken you. One morning, she felt a tingling sensation in her right arm and assumed she slept wrong. A few hours later, she collapsed in the bathroom. Her brain had already been experiencing reduced blood flow, and because she missed the early signs, it took her 6 months of physical therapy to regain her ability to move. Can you prevent this? The answer is yes, and you can do it on your own. First, don't ignore any sensation of numbness, weakness, heaviness, or loss of feeling on one side of your body, especially the face, arms, or legs, even if it lasts only a few minutes. Treat it as a warning sign worth checking out. Second, try the simple test. Smile to assess any drooping of the mouth. Raise both arms to determine if one falls. And articulate a sentence to evaluate for slurred speech. Should you notice any irregularities, promptly contact emergency services at 911. Do not delay. It is unnecessary to have your children or grandchildren present to seek assistance. Individuals are entitled to protection and possess the ability to ensure their safety. Individuals possess the most comprehensive understanding of their bodies, and proactive measures need not be delayed until sensations of numbness occur. Each morning, allocate a few minutes to engage in gentle physical movement, practice deep breathing, and observe your emotional and physical state. Establishing an early warning system is crucial. As strokes occur rapidly, however, the body often provides subtle indications prior to a significant event. Life post-60 can remain fulfilling, active, and joyful by attuning oneself to the body's subtle signals. An isolated occurrence of numbness is not alarming. What is alarming is the act of neglecting it. One possesses the capacity to initiate change. Commencing today. 2. Sudden blurred vision or loss of vision in one eye raises concerns regarding ocular health. Reflect on the clarity of your vision in earlier years. One could thread a needle without corrective lenses. Perceive objects clearly in low light. Read a newspaper without the aid of bright illumination. And identify an individual with a brief observation. One may find oneself holding a piece of paper closer to the window to read small print or searching for a dropped needle for an extended period without success. This behavior is typical. The human eye undergoes changes as a result of aging. However, if you experience a sudden blurriness in one eye, resembling a thin fog obscuring your vision, or observe flashes of light or abrupt dimming, the cause should not be attributed solely to aging. This indicates a potential issue. Many individuals frequently perceive blurry vision as a minor issue. Some humorously suggest that aging results in blurred vision. Eventually, I will open them and find solitude, accompanied by tranquility and silence. Although it may seem humorous, sudden blurriness in one eye, particularly when accompanied by mild dizziness or unusual light patterns, warrants caution. A temporary reduction in blood flow to the brain region responsible for vision may indicate a warning sign preceding a potential stroke. The brain processes visual information akin to a film projected on a screen. Facilitated by a network of intricate blood vessels, interruption of blood flow, even for a brief duration, can result in a malfunction of the screen. Visual disturbances may include blurriness, darkness, flashing lights, or partial loss of vision in one eye. The problem lies not within the eye but rather in the brain. The occipital lobe is the brain region responsible for vision. Strokes occurring in this area may be asymptomatic and painless, yet they can result in significant and enduring damage. Research from Johns Hopkins University indicates that approximately 10% of stroke cases initiate with transient vision loss, which can persist for a duration ranging from a few minutes to several hours. Many individuals dismiss it, attributing it to eye strain, dryness, or the aging process. They remain in anticipation. They presume it will subside. However, within hours, some individuals may experience permanent vision loss in one eye or more. Consider Arthur, a 74-year-old individual residing in New York. One morning, while engaged in reading, he abruptly observed that the vision in his right eye appeared obscured, resembling the effect of a blurred lens. He presumed it was due to dryness and reclined to rest. 1 hour later, he was unable to perceive anything from his right eye. Doctors at the hospital confirmed that he had experienced a stroke in the occipital region of the brain, noting that if he had arrived just 30 minutes earlier, a significant portion of his vision could have been preserved. Is prevention possible? Affirmative. It is straightforward. Monitor for any atypical alterations in vision, particularly if they occur abruptly and are not associated with lighting conditions or eye fatigue. Immediate medical attention is necessary if one experiences blurring in a single eye, dizziness, or slurred speech. Do not rely on your children or others for assistance. Individuals are advised to visit the nearest clinic or contact emergency services if symptoms are severe. Upon waking each morning, allocate a few seconds to concentrate on a distant object. Assess the visual acuity of both eyes for equivalence. This straightforward vision assessment can serve as an effective means to identify a significant problem prior to its progression to an irreversible state. Timely action can prevent disruptions in one's life. Reading, solving crossword puzzles, clearly seeing your grandchildren, and appreciating life's beauty remain possible. Your eyes serve as more than mere reflections of your inner self. They serve as an early indicator of potential issues with brain function. Only you can recognize that signal, provided you are attentive to your body on a daily basis. 3. Dizziness and loss of balance can occur without a specific cause. Some individuals may experience sensations of disorientation upon sitting up in bed, where the perception of head movement appears to precede the body's response. Despite remaining in bed, the world appears to be tilting and swaying as if a ship is departing from the dock. You grasp the bed's edge. Close your eyes briefly, inhale deeply, and conclude that it is likely low blood pressure, attributing it to aging. Occasionally, while traversing the house, one's steps may become unsteady, necessitating the need to grasp a table for support. This experience is not new, it has occurred several times previously. Yet one reassures oneself that it will eventually subside. It indeed passes. The transient sensation of dizziness or imbalance subsides within a few minutes. One resumes daily activities, such as preparing tea, tending to the garden, and navigating the household. However, it may not be apparent that these transient moments hold significant importance. Insufficient blood flow to the brain does not manifest as an overt warning, rather, it results in loss of balance. If ignored, the body continues to signal distress, potentially culminating in severe consequences such as a fall or a stroke. Feeling dizzy or unsteady for no clear reason, especially when standing up or walking, and feeling like you're leaning to one side, suggests that your brain isn't getting enough blood for a short time. Your cognitive function appears to be operating at diminished capacity. All systems remain operational, however. They exhibit reduced speed, instability, and increased susceptibility to shutdowns. The American Heart Association reports that approximately 30% of stroke patients experienced symptoms within 72 hours prior to their stroke event. However, due to the absence of pain, fever, or numbness, individuals often trivialize it as mere dizziness resulting from fatigue. A recent case is Judith, aged 71, who resides in Seattle. 2 days prior to hospitalization, she reported experiencing unsteadiness while walking, despite normal blood pressure and a stable heart rate. That morning, upon exiting her bed, she fell to the ground. The daughter perceived the noise and contacted emergency services. Medical professionals identified her condition as a minor stroke. Fortunately, it did not result in significant damage, however. She required 4 months to relearn ambulation. Is prevention possible? Indeed, assistance from others is unnecessary for this task. Prior to sitting up each morning, remain in a supine position for several seconds. Subsequently, roll onto your side, position your feet on the floor, and engage in 2 or 3 deep breaths. When standing, do not hurry. Remain stationary and observe your body's responses. In the event of dizziness, it is advisable to resume a seated position. If this persists, consult a physician. Even if all other aspects appear typical, it is important to address the issue immediately. Do not postpone addressing the issue until a decline occurs. Do not wait until you are reliant on another to recall your previous ability to walk independently. Slower movements and mindful seconds can facilitate control and mitigate entirely preventable risks. Upon recognizing these subtle changes, one's life begins to transform. You will no longer fear getting out of bed in the morning. Increased confidence in navigating to the bathroom is likely to be experienced. One will experience increased safety and stability. Most importantly, you will manage aging with intentionality rather than by chance. This may represent the most significant benefit one can provide for oneself on a daily basis. 4. Difficulty speaking or slurred speech can occur unexpectedly during conversations, whether while sharing a humorous anecdote or requesting a glass of water from a family member. The words are clear in your mind, however. Upon articulation, they may appear slurred, fragmented, or distorted. You pause briefly, shake your head, and consider that perhaps your tongue merely slipped. A family member may dismiss it, suggesting that mom simply confused her words. This is a common occurrence as people age. Consequently, it is dismissed. You provide self-reassurance until the occurrence repeats. You were previously the individual who communicated with assurance. Audiences attended to your discourse. One could narrate a tale with charisma and perform karaoke for an hour flawlessly. There are instances when one articulates thoughts without a clear understanding of the resulting expression. Do not hastily attribute difficulties in speech to age, rather. If verbal expression seems impaired, it may indicate an urgent signal from the brain. One of the early indicators of a stroke is slurred speech, incoherent words, or the unintentional utterance of incorrect phrases. The process involves more than merely rearranging your vocabulary. This condition occurs when the region of the brain that governs speech experiences a loss of blood supply. You remain vigilant. Your intentions are clear, yet your physical execution is inadequate. It resembles possessing music in one's mind yet experiencing a malfunctioning speaker. The outcome appears distorted and incomplete. Neglecting that moment and focusing solely on the need for a sip of water may result in missing the critical opportunity to prevent a significant stroke from occurring. Harold, aged 73, resides in Texas. While having breakfast with his wife, he abruptly made a statement that she found incomprehensible. He reiterated it, still slurring. She believed he was making a jest. 20 minutes later, he was unable to articulate any words. He dialed 911 to contact emergency services. The physicians indicated that a delay of even 30 minutes could have resulted in a permanent loss of his ability to speak. This assertion is not a conjecture, it is a fact. Fortunately, early detection does not require specialized equipment or assistance from others. Each morning, please try to articulate a simple sentence of your choice. If it is clearly articulated, then it is satisfactory. If speech is impaired or articulation is compromised, seek a professional evaluation. Do not rely on others for reminders. The body serves as a reliable indicator of one's well-being, provided one is attentive to its signals. With minimal daily attention, one can effectively maintain both health and a connection to the broader world. You will continue to narrate stories, share laughter with your grandchildren, and articulate your thoughts clearly and comprehensively. Without hesitation, your attention to minor indicators safeguarded a significant principle: the right to express your truth and fully engage in life. 5. A sudden onset of a severe and atypical headache may occur. Anticipate certain headaches. Late nights, high sodium intake, changes in weather, and interpersonal stressors can all contribute to the onset of that familiar discomfort. However, if a headache occurs suddenly, with intensity, and presents distinctly from previous experiences, it is imperative to cease all activities and take notice. At times, the body does not merely signal, it manifests acute distress and subsequently ceases function. In youth, individuals were capable of carrying heavy sacks of rice, cycling with a child as a passenger, and laboring under intense sunlight without expressing discontent. When a cool breeze passes and a headache occurs, one may conclude that it is likely due to sinus issues. I have age. However, we understand that a specific type of headache exists, which differs from the others. The sensation is akin to a sudden, intense pain, reminiscent of a blunt force trauma to the occipital region. This may be an early warning sign of a brain hemorrhage, a type of stroke that results from brain bleeding. A hemorrhagic stroke occurs when a blood vessel in the brain ruptures, resulting in bleeding into the adjacent tissue, in contrast to an ischemic stroke, which is caused by a blocked artery. The skull's limited capacity prevents blood expansion, resulting in rapid pressure accumulation that compresses the brain. The outcome is a severe headache, dizziness, and, in numerous instances, a swift loss of consciousness if not addressed promptly. A medical degree is not required to recognize that an issue exists. In the event of an unexpected headache accompanied by blurred vision, nausea, weakness in the limbs, or slurred speech, it is imperative to take immediate action. You are not causing any inconvenience to others. Prompt action not only safeguards personal well-being but also maintains autonomy and enhances quality of life. I once heard the story of Clara, a 72-year-old Californian. One morning, while tending to her garden, she experienced a sudden, intense pain in her head. Her son suggested that it was likely heat exhaustion and began assisting her indoors. However, she recognized that the pain was a headache unlike any she had previously experienced. She independently contacted 911. A CT scan subsequently verified the presence of a minor blood vessel leak in her brain. Medical professionals indicated that a delay of even 1 hour could have resulted in a complete hemorrhage. Her prompt action resulted in a brief hospital stay and a successful recovery. Headaches resulting from insufficient sleep, eye strain, or dehydration are manageable conditions. A headache that incapacitates you, necessitating a seated position due to an inability to remain upright, warrants attention. External motivation is unnecessary. External validation is unnecessary. It is essential to rely on your intuition when you perceive that something is amiss. Recognizing those signals enhances safety, empowerment, and tranquility in life. You are no longer allowing fear to dominate your decisions, nor are you leaving outcomes to chance. You have opted to heed your body's signals and to exist with clarity and fortitude. You have consistently shown wisdom and strength. 6. Unusual fatigue, drowsiness, and slow reactions can occur even on mornings without pain, fever, or cough, leaving one with a profound sense of exhaustion, akin to having not slept at all. Your eyelids are heavy, your extremities show signs of fatigue, and a haze obscures your cognitive processes. I may have consumed an excessive amount of salt last night. It would be reasonable to assume that weariness is a normal byproduct of growing older. Persistent fatigue, especially when accompanied by atypical sleepiness, diminished reaction times, and delayed conversational responses, may indicate a more serious underlying condition. In earlier years, one was capable of performing household tasks, cooking, running errands, and maintaining sufficient energy for evening karaoke activities. Engaging in simple tasks such as watering plants or sweeping the porch may induce dizziness. You attribute it to aging or a sense of fatigue. Should you experience the need to recline during the day, falling asleep while viewing television or even during conversations, it is advisable not to disregard this phenomenon. This is especially true if it is accompanied by paresthesia in the hands. Dysarthria, or dizziness. These may indicate diminished cerebral blood flow, serving as a subtle precursor to a potential stroke. The brain is the most intricate organ in the body and is particularly vulnerable to oxygen deprivation. When blood flow to the brain is impaired due to narrowed vessels or fluctuating blood pressure, cognitive function begins to decline, akin to a computer operating with insufficient battery power. One may experience atypical fatigue, unexplained sleepiness, cognitive fog, or memory lapses. This phenomenon is not merely aging, it represents the body's subtle indications preceding a possible crisis. A notable case involves Eleanor, a 76-year-old from Oregon. She frequently dozed off while watching the news and had recently begun to forget her granddaughter's name. Her daughter believed it was merely a consequence of aging. One afternoon, Eleanor was unable to recall the route home following a brief walk in her neighborhood. Following evaluation, physicians identified that she had undergone multiple mini-strokes in the preceding weeks. Unbeknownst to her, the concern was not related to her memory or age but rather to her attentiveness to the unfamiliar sensations within her body. Indeed, there is no necessity for any dramatic actions. Engage in daily self-observation. Am I experiencing increased fatigue today? Am I experiencing atypical lethargy? Why'd I feel drowsy in the mid-morning despite having had adequate sleep? Should these occurrences repeat, it is imperative to initiate a response. This is solely for your benefit. Listening to one's body can mitigate feelings of powerlessness associated with aging. One should no longer be misled by the notion that fatigue is an inevitable consequence of aging. You will experience enhanced mental acuity, increased agency, and the assurance that each action is a deliberate decision rather than an involuntary response. The sensation of maintaining control over one's life is a significant benefit of a self-caring and empowered approach to aging. However, it is important to note that age does not diminish one's capacity for observation, listening, or action. You alone possess the most comprehensive understanding of your body. You have the capacity to safeguard yourself through minor actions, such as being vigilant about any anomalies, conducting self-assessments each morning, and acknowledging any feelings of discomfort. Do not rely on others for reminders. Avoid allowing a moment of indecision to jeopardize the active and independent life you rightfully deserve. If this video was beneficial, please comment with the number 1, like, subscribe, and share it with others. A small piece of information can significantly help prevent serious consequences. Thank you for your attention. It is essential to engage in self-reflection daily.